I am very disappointed, and I know she worked her ass off to get to that point, but I'm here to tell you, Lauren, from one black woman to another, somebody that's older than you, baby girl, you have got to step up your performance. That's why Jess has that seat. That's why she will remain in that seat, because she has a performance. This is who y'all wanted to take Jess' spot.
What's up? This bruh man from the fifth floor. I just want you to know that you watching You Just Got Juiced reactions. Don't forget, you got the juice now.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy You Just Got It Juice, and we are back at it again with another video. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you for checking this small channel out. Just started doing this YouTube thing in January, and we have already surpassed 103 subscribers. Here at this channel, I like to just give my opinion and talk to people like how I would talk to my own friends or family, you know, in my surroundings. So, you know, I kind of just keep it real, just kind of give my opinions, not saying I'm right or wrong, but just saying how I feel based upon my point of views in life and how I was raised and stuff like that. Everybody was raised different. Everybody got different beliefs. So everybody's going to have a different opinion. And the purpose of this channel is trying to see how everybody else feels on the same topic. So, you know, I welcome all comments. And with that being said, somebody sent me this video on Discord, and if you don't have my Discord, the link is in the bio. If you would like for me to react to something, please join my server and send over the clips, and I will react. But somebody sent me this clip about Lauren Larosa from the Breakfast Club, and about how her podcast was not doing as good as expected. So we're going to dive in and see what's going on, and we'll talk about it as the video goes on. So without further ado,
I need to ask y'all forgiveness and compassion up front before we do this commentary, and I would ask you to have an open mind and just pass it off as, you know, it's just Tasha K, right? But Tasha K, you know, I had a little, you know, powwow with the team to ensure that we're in line with what it is that I think or what we think is newsworthy, and this is newsworthy, okay? And so she is younger than me. I am a little older, so I'm trying to not come off so evil in my commentary or like this angry black woman, and I don't know. It's just, I get it from my auntie. You get it from my auntie. I'm not angry. I'm the happiest person in the world, I promise you. But, you know, I get a little passionate about these topics out here and who's in front of the culture. And so, Lauren, I know that you are a wino and you follow us and stuff like that. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry about this commentary. Okay, so like here it go. So once upon a time, there was a young girl named Lauren Larosa who was very, very, very passionate about being in radio and TV, okay? And I can relate to that because I was in my 20s once, and I was very aggressive, super talented, but I was, you know, I lacked experience. And so experience is something that you get over years. So get over the years. And so, you know, I started this when I was like 26, 27, 43 now. You could do the math. So I've been talking for a long time in front of audiences, in front of, you know, stages, on radio, on TV. I've been doing this, okay? I could do this in my sleep. Jasmine has been trying to put together a 45-minute show for years, and it still keeps going an hour and a half because I just won't shut the fuck up. You feel me? Like, I just won't shut the fuck up. And so when it comes to Lauren and her grind, you know, I love it all. I love it all. And you know, the difference between, man, fuck it, let me do a Tasha K style. I'm trying. Jasmine, I tried, Jasmine. Jasmine, I tried. I gotta go in. Okay, so here's the thing. Lauren Larosa sucks, okay? The hype, I don't know what the hell they was doing am not a fan of Jess's work, but I am a fan of Jess's grind. There's a difference. I don't think Jess Hilarious is funny, but I do think she is a hard worker. And as Master P said, McDonald's don't sell burgers, it sells consistency. Jess Hilarious sells consistency. She has been the same. She has not changed, okay?
And I'm not even sure where she's about to go at with this, but I remember I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, you know, they try to get this girl on the show talking about how she's real professional and this and that. But then, like, half of the time, I remember it was the case, it was a Diddy case, and she was talking about, like, I mean, she was trying to read something, and then a DJ Envy asked her, well, like, who's the lawyer? And then, like, I mean, she didn't even know who the lawyer was. So then she tried to pull up the information on the phone. The internet wasn't working, and then she was like, "Oh," and it's like she does that like lots of times. So because she sound professional, don't mean that she is professional and stuff like that. And I think people just got sold by her tone compared to Jess, and then they was like, "Oh, well, I was in oranges and shit," but. I don't see what the big deal was about her anyway. Again, I was rooting for both of them to get along on the show. So, because, you know, I ain't want to see nobody get fired. But I always thought it was weird how she was trying to, you know, how they were trying to replace Jess with her.
And so when this little girl came for Jess, and y'all was coming for Jess, when Jess was going through a very vulnerable moment in her life, being pregnant, you know it messes with your brain, it gives you brain fog. Then you worried about, am I gonna still be the same? Am I gonna be desired the same? You know what we go through emotionally as women. Are we still gonna be in demand? She has this great presence, and we're talking about Jess Hilarious, and now I gotta have this baby, and I gotta sit down, and this girl is in my seat that I chose, okay? Doing a damn good job at what she does, okay? And to Jess, I can understand why she would feel that way, but I still don't understand how does an entrepreneur goes and gets a job when you don't have to get a job, or maybe she needs a job and she just kind of lying about how she really doing out here, because I just don't understand. I'm like, Jess, you can expand in many ways. You don't need the Breakfast Club, but obviously she does. Okay, cool. I ain't splitting my salary with 3 other motherfuckers. It's just me, period. Now, when it comes to Lauren, I've seen people say, oh, Lauren's a journalist. She made a video saying that she wasn't. She says she's a journalist. She does journalist work, but she doesn't have a journalism degree. That is on her channel. Okay, so let's just get that straight. But, you know, when all this came out and Jess was being really vulnerable and courageous to really tell how she felt, she is postpartum still. I extended compassion and grace. Like I said, I don't have to be fake. I'm not buying tickets to Jess Hilarious' show. The only way I'm going to Jess Hilarious' show is if she send me free tickets, okay, to go, period. I'm just not a fan. But like I said, the work ethic, oh, homegirl got it all day. If she had seminars on how to get it, how to cake it, how to keep it, how to grind it, baby, I'm sitting front row on that, because she has the drive and the momentum, and she don't need nobody. So I watch the internet drag Jess. Oh, she can't read, she can't do this. And she's watching this girl try to move in and take her seat. And so then she goes live. The Breakfast Club, you know, ends up doing this whole staged event. They need to talk it out on air. And then Lauren Larosa says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm the producer. You're my talent. And I'm surprised Jess didn't catch that shade, because I would have sure sat Little Miss W2 down, and I would have stood up as the 1099 that I am. Okay, but neither here nor there. You don't always have to tell everybody that you win to let them know that you won. What's already said don't need to be done. Okay, baby girl, you still climbing. I'm already here. I'm already here in movies and everywhere where you want to be. Now, so this whole thing was staged out. She ended up getting a deal from Charlamagne the God. Godly. And it was a podcast. Oh my God, I got my own show, guys. And I was like, oh, great. Okay, so she's leveraging a deal with iHeart, Black Effect. So she's in a sub lease. So what this means is, so iHeart gives Charlamagne some money, says, hey, we want you to occupy this airspace, right? The same thing they just did with Kevin Hart, and they ended up taking that money back because he unoccupied their airspace. He occupied their airspace with boring ass shit, okay? And so when it comes to Charlamagne, they're giving him time. He's had this for about 4 years. It really doesn't have any motion. A few of my friends are on his Black Effect network. I don't personally think it's worth turning to a channel because, you know, one, I don't support Charlamagne, and two, you got to have a badass show to keep me engaged. You got to be better than me, period. You got to be better than me. And, you know, I keep my own self up. So here's the thing. I don't need no extra help. And so she was very excited. Just bear with me for a second. She was very excited. She announced that she did a launch party. She had everybody there. And then I saw the show. Now, I was very, 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 first of all, like I said, you know, W2, she's been with TMZ, then Power 105. So she's had some momentum out here. She's supposed to be a journalist. She's supposed to know what she's doing. She's supposed to know how to talk to people and engage people. And so to see that she even signed to a dude that's signed to another nigga that's signed to another nigga, I can understand why she doesn't even have a full-on studio to do the podcast, because it's hard when the money is a little funny. You know what I'm saying? Because Charlamagne is giving pennies and he's supposed to be giving dollars, and you can tell in this production. So when she came out, her first episode did 79,000 views because it was right off of the, you know, the just hilarious, you know, just momentum. Right? And it was like these two girls, they're very talented. And then Jess was kind of being seen as equal as Lauren, right? And it was like, oh, wow, because of all of this background. She worked for TMZ, she worked for this, she worked for that. She can read better. And, you know, Jess is an entertainer. She's a performer. That's something totally different. And so, and this is what her podcast is lacking. And I'm going to show you the receipts here in just a second. And so, you know, to make a long story short, she does this whole grand thing, and, you know, even talks about on Carlos King's show the other day. Jasmine, do we have that with Lauren Larosa with Carlos King?
When I was leaving and Breakfast Club opening up, it all happened because I bullied my way into getting a guest hosting position. Like, they didn't know me. I had never met or worked with Charlamagne, Envy, Angela Yee. I didn't know the EP who was booking Eddie F, who was booking everybody for the guest hosting. They didn't know me from a can of paint. They might have seen, like, okay, the girl from TMZ, but, like, I was on my best bully. I wasn't even thinking about it like the job was going to be mine. To be honest with you, I watched the show. I was a fan of the show, every interview, every whatever, because of what I do. So, like, I watched it and I could tell from the natural progression of the guest host and how much Jess was there. I'm like, oh, the job is basically hers. They just haven't announced it yet.
How did you get the opportunity to even have the day?
So what I started to do was being resourceful. I was reaching out to anybody I knew who had ever walked inside of the Breakfast Club.
She was spirit channeling. She was spirit harvesting. That's why she was telling Jess on air, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. She didn't know anybody. And so she started putting her pictures on the wall and harvesting energy and putting herself in that situation and watching the show and envisioning herself there. So basically, she just did a personal vision board where she masturbated to all their pictures and stuff. And now she has a job that I feel that she's great for with them. But go ahead, Jasmine. Finish.
From the natural progression of the guest host and how much Jess was there. I'm like, oh, the job is basically hers. They just haven't announced it yet.
How did you get the opportunity to even have the day?
So what I started to do was being resourceful. I was reaching out to anybody I knew who had ever walked inside of the Breakfast Club. I was sending them my resume and my reel, like, yo, send this to them. So I mean, like, publicists, managers, artists, homies.
Yeah, this sounds weird already. So it's like you force your way into the job, and then now you
of theirs, like anybody. And what's so crazy is the day that Angela Yee announced that she was leaving, it was trending. There's an interview she did for TMZ right outside the station. I cold called her and booked that, like, yo, we need to interview with you on your way out. And jokingly, I was just like, I was asking her, because I was trying to get the story. I'm like, well, what's next? Like, what's about to happen? What are they looking for? Does it have to be a celebrity? Like, you don't even have to know a name, but just give me a criteria what they're looking for, because that alone is a story right now. She's like, yo, they don't know what they're looking for. And I'm like, and I'm joking. I'm like, oh, they're going to take a shot on little brown girl on her grind. And she like, don't know what they're looking for. Shoot your shot. And I was like, for real? Like, I'm not a celebrity. And she was like, it doesn't matter. They don't know what they're looking for right now. And I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't know her. I didn't know if that was true. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try. So I just did that, and it had gotten back to me a couple times. Like, people would send me screenshots of their responses, like, yo, we keep getting her resumes and her reels. Tell her hit Eddie, blah, blah. And I'm like, who is Eddie? So my manager did some digging with some radio contacts that she had, and we got in contact with Eddie F, who's the EP. Mm-hmm. And I flew in town. My mom had a doctor's appointment, so I flew in town. And I told my manager, like, if we don't figure out a meeting, I'm going to that studio. I'm just going to sit there until Eddie F walks downstairs. And she was like, no, don't do that. I'm going to figure it out. I was like, figure it out or not, I'm doing it. So I'm just telling you, she figured it out.
I know that's right, Lauren.
Okay. And so what you saw there, guys, if there's anything that you ever want in life, just use all of your energy, all of your being to make it happen. If you don't have any experience, it will still happen for you. And sometimes before your time. And use it to do on things that maybe you're not experienced for. And watch, it's going to happen. And so she understands spirit harvesting and all that stuff. And, just good job on that. She should have explained it that way, but I get it. A lot of people, I'm like, oh, it's witchery, whatever. Okay, so here's the thing. So this whole, fuss was being made. And when the episode came out, the first episode, it was an hour, on her podcast. It got a lot of views. About 80,000. It was off of Jess Hilarious's Noise. And then the second episode came out. Receipts are here because y'all are calling me a hater, but are her viewers haters? I just want to, put that out because y'all always saying I'm hating, but then her audience is not supporting, okay? And so when you go to her channel, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to get it to you yourself.
Now, I'm not sure what type of content she does on her podcast, but if it's the same stuff that she's doing on the Breakfast Club, then why would people tune into that? Because there's a lot of people on YouTube doing that. Like, I do it. Other people like report on, like stuff that's happening in the news or like in the Black community and stuff like that. So, like I said, I'm not sure what type of content she's doing. So, but if she is doing that, like if she's doing like Lauren with the mess or whatever the hell that stuff is, then yeah, that makes sense. And then off the first one, yeah, it's because of the beef, and maybe that's why Charlamagne told Jess Hilarious to just like go with it. And I don't know if y'all seen that interview when she exploded online, and then she went to work the next day. And then, but like when she was on that video, when she was in the house, she was like how she called Charlamagne, and Charlamagne was like, just go with the flow, meaning like, like let's get as much views and clicks as we could get. So with that being said, it makes sense why her first episode caught a lot of views. But
so her first episode came out 6 days ago, which was 80,000. 4 days ago, 4 days ago, 27-minute episode on iHeart, 9,000. Okay, episode yesterday, 2 episodes yesterday, 3,000, and another episode today, yesterday as well, 2,000. Now, I've never in my life seen numbers crash. This is like worse than the stock market. This is hype. And then once all the smoke goes away and you see it, this is what you get. Go, Jasmine.
Hey, y'all. This is the latest with Lauren Larosa. I am Lauren Larosa. This is episode 4. So let's get on into some things. We taking y'all to court. We doing a little court. You know what I mean? If there's a dun dun.
I thought I had the mic on, but I was saying, like, man, why is there no background? It's just like boring. It's like if you watching it, I don't want to watch. I mean, like, I don't know. I can't explain, but like, even though like Tasha K background, it's not that much. It's blue. It's just something. It's something, but that bright white, and then, I don't know, bro. Let's see.
Taylor, put that on in here. I need that. Okay, it's giving litigation right now. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was Drake. You guys know that Drake has been going back and forth with Universal Music Group over the song Not Like Us, even though he's positioning it and claiming that it's not specifically about the song, that it's more so about the fact that his label did not protect him and that they allowed another artist on the label, speaking of Kendrick Lamar, to drop Not Like Us, which Drake and team say is a very defamatory song. It's dangerous, and there's no way that this should have been supported. So now he is suing, okay? The lawsuit, there's been a lot of back and forth, but more recently,
Okay, so it's what she does on the Breakfast Club, but you see the difference with hers and like even mine's or like Tasha K's. It's like how we talk to the people as we talk about the news. So even though it's our opinion, I think that's the difference, and it's different when you're in the Breakfast Club, because the Breakfast Club is a segment, and people waiting for them to go back to the talking parts. But you know they gotta talk about the news. So for the older people, it's ways for them to keep up, and then for the younger crowd, you also able to keep up with the current events and stuff like that. But for the people that's not listening to the Breakfast Club or the people that's actually on YouTube, they see stuff that pops on their feed. So again, I don't know how popular that she is, but if it wasn't for the Breakfast Club, I wouldn't even know this girl. So, and I'm not going to be looking to get my news from, it's like people already get their news from the people that they used to. So again, it's just people probably was curious on that first episode to see that she was going to talk about the situation or the just hilarious stuff. And then that was it. And then once they went back to it, they probably was like, nah, man, I'm good.
The Universal Music Group side of things said, you know what, Judge? This all is BS. Drake doesn't honestly think that we did half of the stuff that he is claiming. He's claiming that they work with bots to make Not Like Us a bigger song than it was. He's claiming that they, paid third-party bloggers to talk about it, that they paid radio, like just a ton of different things, right? That he has claimed over some time. He's claiming everything but the song is a bop. And baby, the song is a bop. Okay, he's claiming everything but what the truth is. So in doing that, his ask was in this. I want to make sure. I hope I didn't say file suit. If I said that is not what I meant. And I think that it gets tricky there. And a lot of people, when in reporting it or talking about it, say it wrong. Because I think we're so used to like, okay, you hear defamation and then boom, it's a lawsuit. When for real, what Drake did was a smart business play. He filed a motion basically asking to be able to discover, like to look inside of Universal.
We should let Lauren host for us. What you think? We should keep it going. Let Lauren host for us. Let her be a guest seat in the show during the show. Yeah. Jazzy Faye. Productions on my nizzle. What do you think, Winos? Do you think we should call Lauren over?
You want the Winos to click off the video, or you want to keep them around, keep them entertained?
I thought they said I was hating. Play it some more. Finish playing the video. Let them listen, please. Finish playing the video.
To music groups, all of their internal things, and figure out if what he thinks is happening is really happening, or at least enough to get enough evidence to then go back to a judge and say, hey, here's what we have, and now we're moving forward with a lawsuit. A lot of times in defamation, people will tell you, like, defamation is one of the hardest things to prove, because not only do you have to prove that the person and their intent was defamatory and that they meant to harm you, to make it where you can't get money, to make it where you can be harmed by what they're saying or what they're throwing on you, but also too, you have to really be able to prove loss. Like really be able to prove it. You really have to be able to prove this. So a lot of times people go right in with the lawsuit, and normally that's because they have the evidence. They understand, where they're standing legally and what they're going to lean in on. And what Drake did was, he's like, okay, here's what I think is happening. Here's my long laundry list of things that I think is happening. But I want to go in and I want to poke around a little bit, because I need to figure out, like, if I'm shooting, who's my target? I thought that was actually pretty smart. I also thought that this was smart too, because if I'm Drake, and the conversation around this was that Drake, was negotiating, renegotiating with the label and trying to do all these things. If I'm doing that and I feel like my label isn't, giving me full transparency on some stuff, the best way to get transparency about the stuff that I want, but also about me and how impactful I am at this label.
No, don't be trying to call for the police. No, y'all, don't be trying to call for the police. This is who y'all wanted to take Jess' spot. Now, it sounds good when she with other people. You know how you playing double dutch when there's a conversation? It sounds good, but when it's by itself and all the smoke is clear and it's just you. I was very, very disappointed in Lauren Larosa's performance. I really thought I was coming over there to get some brown girl business. Not for real. They trying to, when you file a lawsuit, you really got to prove, like they took money from you for real. And it felt like I was listening to my ex-assistant do a show. I am very disappointed, and I know she worked her ass off to get to that point, but I'm here to tell you, Lauren, from one black woman to another, somebody that's older than you, baby girl, you have got to step up your performance. That's why Jess has that seat. That's why she will remain in that seat, because she has a performance attribute. So I don't know if you need to take some acting classes or what, but the 6 o'clock morning news is never giving anymore. You have got to come with some passion. It sounds like an extended topic. What's the name of her segment on the Breakfast Club, Jasmine? What's the name?
I said that, bro. It sounds like the Breakfast Club. I said if she's doing the Breakfast Club shit, nobody's going to want to tune into that, because you got other networks or other outlets out here where you can find that information. Like, come on, huh?
Name of it.
I don't think she has a segment, but I'm sure it's the latest with Lauren Larosa.
The latest with Lauren Larosa. It sounds like an extended version of the latest with Lauren Larosa, with all the for real, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not giving us anything that we haven't heard. Or no, we know what defamation is about. We know what it consists of. Baby girl, what are your thoughts? So if you're going to have a podcast is a conversation piece where you actually give your thoughts and opinions on stuff and not just read. She's holding her phone, reading news word by word. What do y'all think? Like playing with her hair. Baby girl, get in some acting classes. I'm not saying you ain't got it. You just ain't got it right now.
And again, like I said, I just started doing this in January. So, I'm still filling stuff out and still learning how to talk confident. Because like I said, me personally, I don't like looking at the camera for a long time because I got to turn my head this way. And, if I'm going to talk to you, I want to be comfortable. And, I don't know. That's me. And also, like, the way my desk is set up, I can't put my camera in front of me. So, so my screen is actually, like, where I'm looking at is my screen. And then my camera is right here. But like when I'm like doing stuff, I gotta look at my screen. So, but again, I'm still learning and stuff like that. And eventually I get better and stuff like that. But I could do better than that. And then for her to get like 3,000 views, like my videos, I think they start to get about 2,000, about 2,500, on a good video. And then, so that's kind of like numbers I'm pulling, and I don't got as many followers as she got. So something's not right with that. And that's not good, bro. I mean, for her, especially for her to be a TV person now, or, whatever you want to call her.
You ain't got it right now. So y'all all need to go on over there to Jess Hilarious page and apologize to her, because this is just wrong. And y'all ain't even over there talking about I'm hating. I'm looking at the views. Y'all ain't even clicking on the video. Go on over there to the channel. Go on. As with the mess.
Shit. God damn it. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, so what do y'all think about that? Again, I was one of the people that I was like, I think they should all work it out as far as like them being on the Breakfast Club. But I never was a fan of her or the stigma about her trying to take that lady's job, because again, it's apples and oranges. It was two different two different styles. And then me personally, I prefer Jess to give the information because she reminded me of somebody like me, just like a YouTuber, somebody just talking the news. And then, like I said, we don't need all the accurate stuff. I mean, it's good to have that every once in a while, depending on what it is. Like when it came down to like the Diddy stuff, then you can go into detail and stuff like that. But if it's just regular, celebrity news or celebrity, gossip or whatever, then let Jess do that, or Charlamagne, or somebody else. But we are, it is what it is, and curious to see how this is gonna turn out. And yeah, and then I remember she was kind of throwing that girl shade, like I'm the producer, and then talking about the podcast, and then now she's doing all these commercials. Like the little lawyer commercials that be coming on doing the radio. I be seeing that popping up on my YouTube stuff. So she's trying to take over the spotlight. But is she worthy of having a spotlight? So we will see in due time. With that being said, leave your comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, and then I'll be able to be monetized. Then I'll be able to feel a little bit of more relief, because like I said, I think I'm doing a good job for this to be the 4th month. Yeah, again, I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not trying to, I'm just being myself and just giving my opinions. And for me doing that, I'm happy with the progress that I'm receiving. So thank y'all for checking this channel out, and I'll continue to post, and I will see you guys next time. And don't forget, you got the juice now, and we are out. Boop, boop, boop.